newspaper review this morning starts with the Guardian newspaper. Low expectations, optimism herald Trump's second coming. The U.S. elections there, the main story. More of that on page 6 of the Guardian. Nigerian Tribune leaves with all marketers tackling Dangote in court. Page 16 has more details, saying no to planned monopoly in energy sector. Now that's one that many people are going to be talking about for quite a while. The Daily Times. Minister attributes grid collapses to vandalism and lack of maintenance. Says the federal government is taking the issue seriously, and there's supposed to be a briefing on that today. But more of that story from the Daily Times newspaper. Daily Trust. Bandits abduct over 50 people in Zamfara again. Place 150 million naira levy on residents. Kill 10 farmers in Niger. And the government says we're working hard to tackle the problem. The Daily Trust has more details. Nigerian News Direct. Tinubu, Nigerian Governors Forum, others mourn the death of Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Taoreed Lagbaja. Page 3 with more details there from the Nigerian News Direct. Senate leaders, NGF, others laud his courage and commitment to national security. He was an outstanding officer and patriot, says former President Muhammadu Buhari. And the acting Chief of Army Staff, Oluyede, hails late Lagbaja as a courageous and selfless leader. Page 3 has more details. The Blueprint newspaper this morning. I'll bring America to a golden age, Trump vows amid Middle East turmoil. And of course, we're seeing that 16 months after appointment, Chief of Army Staff Lagbaja dies at 56. President Tinubu orders flags at half-mast this morning. The Daily Independent. Tributes for Lagbaja as Tinubu orders flags flown at half-mast. Akpabio Oluremi Tinubu Defense Minister Oyebanji Mba Makinde Oberewori more. The Vanguard newspaper. United States poll. Be president to all, Kamala charges Trump as Tinubu, Biden, and world leaders and others hail him. On that from page 15 of the Vanguard newspaper. And those are the headlines this morning.
And indeed, let's just stick one or two stories. I'll start out with the Vanguard here. And so if you see on that front page is that story. Be president to all, Kamala charges Trump. Well, as they say, the one who is outside the field most times is the better coach. And the question is he seeing from all the angles? So now she's looking from the outside, say, okay, you're coming in, be a president to all. And hopefully we'll see it different. But as I say, that's a conversation for today. That's not the story I wanted to look at. And this one is a sports story. It's on page 36, sports. Morocco 2025, Ekong, Lukman, Osimhen, Simon, 19 others gear up for Benin, Rwanda. That's the story. That's the story I want to look at, especially in the phase of the, how do you say that, subsuming of the Ministry of Sports to the National Sports Commission. The director, the chairman of that commission has been talking about his plans for the sports commission, and some have advised that, look, don't make it a football commission, it's a sports commission across board. So while Nigeria is preparing for the Benin-Rwanda game, there are other sports to look at. There's tennis, there's cricket, there is handball, there's volleyball, and then there is the athletics. A couple of days ago, the court a presidential panel that looked at the Olympics, the recently concluded Olympics, asked that the AFN pays a compensation to one of the athletes because of error mistakes they made in the preparations towards that game. So while Nigeria prepares to this, let's keep our hearts united, because sports remains one of those things that keeps Nigeria united. That's it from the Vanguard.
Let's take the Daily Trust newspaper. Bandits abduct over 50 people in Zamfara. That's the lead story there. Page 3 has more details, placing 150 million naira levy on residents. 10 farmers killed in Niger. And the federal government, state governments also saying we're working hard to tackle that problem. How hard is this work? The DDM will have a briefing today on the security situation in the country. And I'm hoping that these are some of the things that will come up at that briefing today. I mean, we've been going through this for a very long time, especially in this Zamfara state. With everything we've heard the Minister of State for Defense talk about, with everything we've heard the Minister of Defense talk about, with everything we've heard the NSA talk about, with everything we've heard the governor of the state talk about, it's disappointing and a failure of governance. However you want to rub it, it is a failure of governance and one that needs to be addressed really quickly. We cannot continue to leave our people in these situations. It's disappointing and bad for the future of our nation. Whoever is supposed to do something about this situation has to get that done quickly. Whatever collaboration is necessary to keep this part of the country safe is one that has to be done. If we're going to remain a country, then we cannot pretend that these things don't affect us. It affects all of us as a whole. So this bandit situation, something needs to be done about it, and that is where I'm going to stop talking about it right now. And hopefully we get more details on this situation when the DDMO briefing happens today. And those are some of the headlines that we're looking at today. I mean, we do have some stories going on in the country today. We have some events happening in the country, and we had talked about them. So happening today, the Minister of Power will be having a briefing on this grid collapse, this constant grid collapse, and solutions. It's happening at Powerhouse today. We'll be giving you the details at some point during the show today. You know, we'll be getting that for you. But business also has some things happening today for us. And when the business team come up, they'll be talking about the Trump presidency and what impact it will have on Nigeria's economy. So those are some of the major things that we have happening today in the country. Nelta, what are you thinking about when you look at this grid collapse story?
I'm thinking about what the law says and how the different governments, I mean the state governments, 36 state governments, can actually key into this and make a difference for their own citizens. I mean, the law allows you, even before the new Power Act was signed into law, there was an opportunity for you to generate a certain amount of power for, it's called captive power. There are opportunities, and Nigeria is blessed with sunlight. Yes, we have sunlight, solar energy. There are all manner of ways you can go about. There's coal, there's hydro. All of this can be utilized, and truly the state governments need to wake up to this. So hopefully we'll see a different, I mean, what the minister suggested, regional, the different states can come together and say, okay, Kayla, you and I are neighbors. Instead of each of us putting up a generator for our house, let's get one generator to serve the two of us. And let's look at, okay, can we get some other people to join in so that we buy a bigger generator that serves the entire area? That's what some people do. Some wealthy people in their communities have gone on to buy huge generating sets. Back then, I mean, in the 80s, a former Minister of Agriculture in Nigeria, late Chief Itan Okobuli, bought a huge generator that was serving his entire community and his farm. So think about it.
Well, his presentation today is a report on the resolution of incessant grid collapse. So the Minister of Power, Adebayo Adelabu, is going to be happening at Powerhouse. We want to hear what the solutions he has and how they are going to be implemented. So that's something I'm looking forward to, and I hope you're looking forward to it as well.
We will look forward to that. We'll take a moment, and when we come back, we'll pick up that conversation. The happenings in the U.S., the Trump administration kicking off in January 2025, how would that affect Nigeria? What are the lessons to learn? What's the way forward? We'll be back in a moment.